Disney Pixar's Brave is about a princess named Merida whose parents arrange for her marriage against her wishes. The feminist themes of Brave are undeniable. Merida wonderfully embodies female empowerment, self-belief, and strength. These aspects of Merida's personality are very commonly discussed, but shockingly, the film's thematic messaging around taking control of your own life is seldom spoken about. Throughout the film, Merida discovers the meaning of fate, and though the formal definition of fate is described to be events out of one's own control and predetermined by a supernatural power, Brave argues that it is actually something that can be deliberately changed by ourselves. The concepts of fate and free will have been historically contested. Interestingly enough, Brave's discussion of fate aligns more with how we understand free will to be the power of acting completely through one's own discretion, but it integrates a supernatural element to it. Early on, we learn about the Will-o'-the-Wisps, which are ethereal beings from Scottish folklore. The wisps are explained to guide people to their fate. In the film, Merida struggles with her parents, especially her mother, forcing her to marry to unite the kingdoms.
I suppose a princess just does what she's told.
Merida wishes to remain unwed, free to live her life in her own unconventional way.
This whole marriage is what you want. Do you ever bother to ask what I want?
She rides horses, is an expert archer, and defies the expectations placed on her regarding appearances. Though her behavior may seem normal, even praised by modern society, in the world of Brave, it is unacceptable. Merida and Eleanor have a heated argument about Merida's wishes for her life, and afterward, Merida escapes into the forest on horseback. There, Merida comes across a line of will-o'-the-wisps, which guide her to the witch's cottage. The existence and occurrences of the will-o'-the-wisps seem like they follow a traditional understanding of fate. Their appearances come without the control of Merida, and they are what guide her. But I think the deeper understanding of the wisps should be in how Merida chooses to interact with them. It is one thing to let decisions be hurled at you, and for you to be a passive participant of your life. It is something entirely more to turn uncontrollable events into objects of potential. The wisps appeared, but Merida chose to follow them. She chose to enter the witch's cottage. She chose to ask for the spell and to feed it to her mom.
And one spell.
Although she ultimately encountered a situation which she didn't expect and wasn't happy with, she dealt with it and figured out how to solve it all with a favorable outcome. Merida was able to alter her destiny because she took the steps and fought to change it. In her quest to return Eleanor to her human form, Merida and her mother develop a better understanding of each other's perspectives. This is what led Merida to not get married and be able to pursue the life she wanted to at the end of the movie. The wisps were guidance, but they only appeared because they knew she already wanted to change her fate.
I want a spell to change my mum. That'll change my fate.
The wisps are presentations of past lives, and by knowing that Mor'du turns into one, and that he himself was once a young man who wanted to change his own fate, I theorize that the wisps act with the intention of helping someone to seek autonomy of their future, since they weren't able to themselves. And what about the title Brave and its meaning? Sure, Merida is brave, but the film's most prominent themes circle around self-confidence, choice, and the mother-daughter relationship. Brave feels slightly detached. I personally think back to the Latin proverb, "Fortune favors the brave," which encourages people to be bold and take chances if they want to find success. In many ways, Merida's course of action was rash and dangerous, but she took a leap of faith due to her urgent situation, and it ultimately paid off. Sometimes a crazy decision is a necessary one. I'm not saying to try and curse your mother, but I think life does require an insane amount of trust in the unknown sometimes. No one's ever found true happiness and success by living life overly cautiously. So what does this movie mean? What's Brave telling its young and impressionable viewers? It's easy to get hung up believing that the poor circumstances we face mean we're cursed to an unfortunate fate which cannot be changed. But this mindset is not only untrue, it is useless and harmful. We are not innate victims of the world. Life comes from us more than it comes at us. So it's important to reframe a victim mindset. We are autonomous beings who have the power to shape our lives how we'd like. I think Merida's quote at the end of the film sums it up pretty well. There are those who say fate is something beyond our command, that destiny is not our own. But I know better. Our fate lives within us. You only have to be brave enough to see it.